this is all great, but it's simply not enough, right? We need to do more. And as I think about the great sort of societal U-turn to a more socially just and ecologically sustainable world, to me that is not just a fantasy. It really is a reality. And I learned this from a book called Making Peace with the Planet by a man named Barry Commoner, who said that if we transform just 4 sectors of human society, we will be mostly on the way to a sustainable society. And that's the energy sector, the transportation sector, the food sector, and the manufacturing sector of society. If we get those 4 shifts heading in the right direction, we can hold our head high. So in the last 7 years, I shifted from tropical rainforest to kind of the green city revolution, because many of these changes, as we all know, are very hard to do at the international convention level, very hard to do at the nation-state level, be that Germany or the United States or Brazil. But at that city and provincial level, a lot of things can really happen. So in San Francisco and Oakland, where I was president of the Commission on the Environment and the director of sustainability for a couple of years, we looked at the energy sector and we drafted the plans and we passed the policies to get to 100% renewable electricity, right? 50% by the year 2017, not so far away, and 100% by the year 2030. We looked at the transportation sector, very difficult, but we're drafting plans to quadruple the walkability, the bicycleability, and the mass transit systems of the city. And quadrupling of that is not drop in the bucket. It's something towards systemic change. In the food sector, we need to go from industrial soil-destroying agriculture to organic soil-building agriculture throughout the planet, right? And cities can do a lot about that. In the city of Oakland, California, we passed a resolution declaring that we would develop the programs to produce 1/3 of all of our food for the 500,000 that live in Oakland from within the city limits, from rooftop and community gardens. Difficult, but not impossible. And if we can't meet that goal precisely, then in the next 100 or 150 miles, we're setting up the relationships with the farmers to be able to make that shift from globalization to localization. In the manufacturing sector, it's very difficult, but what we ultimately need is to get to a zero-waste society where we have a closed-loop material flow, right? Sustainable production and consumption systems. And in San Francisco, we passed in that country, the first zero-waste legislation. All of the cities of California have now achieved a 50% reduction of waste going into landfills because of an earlier law. So we said, if we can get to 50%, when will we get to 75%, and when will we get to 0? So San Francisco has legislation, and many other cities now in the United States. It wasn't our idea. We actually got it from New Zealand, which had passed it as national policy far before us. But we have to get to 75% reduction of waste by the year 2010 and zero waste by the year 2020. And already San Francisco is at 70 to 71% reduction of waste through recycling and reuse systems. So we're well on the way. These transformations are all heroic, and many green cities around the world are doing these things, and we're begging and borrowing and stealing ideas from each other and having great competitions doing it. But such accomplishments are not enough either if we really want to make this great ecological U-turn. And hand in hand, I think, with the work of Utopia from the standpoint of directing purchasing power and inspiring people to act in more conscious and meaningful ways, we have to do something else of great import. We have to shut down the cheater economy. We have to transform the capital market system itself. And ultimately, we have to ecologize capitalism. Maybe there's a better economic ism out there, but it's not in front of us right now. And if we accomplish this other goal, which I'll explain a little bit more about, I think it'll buy us 100 years or so to look at other forms of systemic change and shifts.